This Prominent Cast can be found everywhere. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and more.
Hi, welcome to Civic Leaders. I'm Bert Lowry, Market Intelligence Officer for Springbrook Software. Today I'm talking with Debbie Smith-Wagar, Assistant Finance Director at the City of Tigard, Oregon. Okay, Debbie, question number one. When and how did you decide that local government was your calling?
I was working for a CPA firm, and I was doing a lot of different types of audits. And so I was auditing like construction companies and some other not-for-profit organizations and things like that. But a lot of our audits were local governments. And I became very interested in the how complex local government accounting is compared to, say, accounting for construction or accounting for a bank or accounting for a different for-profit firm. And so I became very interested in local government and the complexities of it. And so I slowly over time kind of developed this knack, I guess, for lack of a better word, knack for local government accounting, and just sort of eased into it over time. And it just, as I became more familiar with it, I became more comfortable with it, and the more comfortable I became with it, the more I got to know it. And so it wasn't a sudden aha moment where, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. It was oh, I kind of like this, and this is really interesting, and now I'm learning more about it. And slowly over time, I started to become actually an expert in my field, which felt kind of weird when one day, I'd been going to all of these conferences, and all of a sudden they were asking me to be the speaker at a conference. And that was when I kind of knew I had arrived, and that was what I wanted to do.
Question number two. When did the gravity of your responsibility as a public official first hit you?
When I first worked for the city of Newburgh, every year I would meet my auditors at the door and say, "You're not going to believe what happened this year. I had the weirdest things happen." And I would start to tell them about it, and we would start to debate about how I should handle these in my financial statements. And so I think probably some of those early years of the audit I stressed more than I probably should have, because it all works out in the end. You get your audit done, and everybody's happy when it all is said and done. But it's a lot of work, and it's something that it's really easy to stress out about before you finally learn that, you know what, every year there's something that's a little bit odd, and every year you work through it, and every year it all turns out okay. So those early years of doing audits where it really fell on me to be responsible for the audit, I think those were the most stressful for me and probably my most difficult years. I'm not sure that there was one in particular that I could single out as being the worst, but I had times when I would go home and just think, I just can't do this anymore because I'm not going to be able to figure out how to report this, and it's all going to be horrible, and I'm not really quite sure what I thought in my head was going to happen, but it all worked out okay in the end, and it always does.
Question number three. What do you tell young professionals considering a career in the public sector?
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that, because I teach governmental accounting at Portland State University, and so the class is a required class for seniors and graduate students. And so we talk a lot about what it's like to work for a local government, and I encourage a lot of them to consider it. Because back when I was 20 years old and I was taking governmental accounting in college, my first thought was, I am never going to do this. It's confusing, it's different from all the other types of accounting that we've learned up until we take that class. And so I just thought I was never going to do this. I was going to learn enough of it to get through the CPA exam, and then I never wanted to ever hear about governmental accounting again. What I found out, though, is that it's something, as I mentioned earlier, that's very interesting. It's complex. There's never a boring moment. Every year is different. Every year we have different things that we have to figure out how to report in our financial statements. And so as I actually ended up in governmental accounting, I found out that it was a very interesting and very rewarding area to work in. So what I would tell people who are 20 years old and just starting out, whether they be already in local government or if they're going to work for a CPA firm or anything else, I would say keep your just keep your mind open.
Question number 4. What can be done to correct the public's perception of government employees?
I would like to encourage people to get involved, and if local government is something that they're interested in at all, if they want a better community, for people to get involved in their community. People complain a lot. People like to blame government for their problems. Well, you are the government. The government is yours, and you are the government. So I would really encourage people to get involved in local government in one way or another. And if they're really interested in being government employees, then be a government employee and fight the perception that we're lazy and that we don't work hard, because we aren't lazy and we do work hard. So I would really encourage people to get involved and to see for themselves that there's a lot of personal satisfaction in local government work. And then as part of that, then you can also be one of those people that says, you know what, we're not lazy and we do work hard. So to actually get involved and to fight that argument is, I think, really important.
Bottom line, Debbie, what really makes a commitment to public service worth it?
I think it's all worth it because at the end of the day, I can say that I did something for the community, that I was able to make a difference, maybe in a really, really small way, but that I was able to assist and make something that was be part of something that's bigger than me. To be able to, find a way to get a project financed so that some capital project gets done that might otherwise not get done if it hadn't been for some creative thinking on my part, or to be just a part of something that, like I say, is much bigger than me, and it's going to live on beyond me. I look back at old financial statements from years ago and know that the people that prepared those financial statements are retired now and have moved off to warmer climates. But I go through those and I look at those and I think those live on basically forever, because those financial statements were required under state law to keep those forever. And so to think that I'm part of something that's going to live on longer than what just me being here, I like that. I like that part of my job.
And finally, Debbie, what's next for you in the city of Tigard?
I think for the city of Tigard, what I'm really looking forward to is that we're growing. Tigard had been landlocked for a number of years, and we recently added a lot of acreage to the city, and it's bare farmland. And so we've been literally handed a clean slate to be able to develop a new community out there. And it's been so much fun to work with the developers out there and our planning department and everyone to work on what that's going to look like. And so I think Tigard is growing again, and I think that's really exciting for my staff to be able to look at that and say, Tigard's getting bigger and we have new things coming towards us. How are we going to account for those things? What is Tigard going to look like in the future? And are we headed down the right path? And so a lot of people have a lot of input into that and what that future community is going to look like. And that's really exciting for the city of Tigard, and it's really exciting to be a part of that and for my staff to be a part of that as well.
All right, that was Debbie Smith-Wagar, Assistant Finance Director for the City of Tigard, Oregon. I'm Bert Lowry with Springbrook Software, and this has been Civic Leaders. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Civic Leaders is a Springbrook Software Promnicast. Visit sprbrk.com for more. Syndication support is provided by emerging local government leaders. Visit elgl.org for more exclusive content. This series is produced and distributed by the VOLSTA Media Network. Be sure to check out other great shows, episodes, and more at volsta.com.